Hey guys, this is Daniel from MBTV. Damon will be checking in pretty soon. Just got off of a really very long event prior to this regarding Socionics. Socionics is fresh in my mind, and I cannot wait for Damon to come in here and so we can talk about duality and with in regards to Socionics. Sooner or later he'll pop in for in here, and we'll be able to talk about duality in relation to socionics. And so pretty much it still follows the same it follows the same idea along with MBTI as far as duals, right? And so I don't know where Damon is right now. He's supposed to be coming in, so he will be here momentarily. But until then, we have a couple of people. We have 5 viewers. Shoot, the INFJ and the ESTP. Very good coupling. I actually went over the INFJ and the ESTP in my most recent video. Yeah, so that's a very interesting duo, and I believe that it's totally you never do sleep lately, Pop. But yeah, so I'm actually a really big fan of duals because when it comes to duals, the idea really comes from the inferior function, this orientation for growth. INFP and ESTP are duals, right? No. In MBTI, it's INFJ and ESTP. In Socionics, I have to get clarification from Damon because I'm not that much in the know of all the particularities of Socionics. But from what I know, INFJ and ESTP are duals, just as ENFJ and ISTPs are duals. And the idea is that it's I just kind of it's just a different orientation, and I'm kind of waiting for Damon to get in here so we can talk about it because I'm really excited. So hopefully you can jump in. Give me 1 second. Let's see what he's up to. Yeah. So INFP is INFJ. Bruno Daniel. Oh yeah. Socionics. Yeah. So you rest my case. um, but yeah. So anyway, I'm a big fan of it because as far as I need to see the visuals of Socionics to really get into it. Because I'm just getting into Socionics. I can talk about duals all day with MBTI, but it's just going to be different for Socionics. And I am not that knowledgeable from the top of my head with Socionics. The idea is that with INFPs and ESTPs, Jesus. Yeah, no, it's an interesting coupling. One's very assertive in life, and the other one, it's almost actually like two very different areas of kind of how they see life and how they kind of combine. And so it's weird because if you ask a lot of, um, have you met ISTJ? No, I haven't met ISTJ. What is that? Is that my dual? Is ISTJ my dual in Socionics? But anyway, um, so the idea with INFP and ESTP is that if you ask an INFP or a lot of INFPs, if they exhibit the behavior or they see the behavior of an ESTP like Donald Trump, they will totally disagree with with liking or favoring that kind of that idea or the way that they navigate their life, because it's very unidealistic from an INFP perspective, I would think. Oh, cool. ISTP, ISTJ. Um, Talking about ISTJs, it's kind of weird for me because in Socionics, I haven't taken a look. I really like the Model G. Going back to the live event that I just did, I'm way more in support of the Model G factor of how Model G works with Socionics and Model A. And so I have not yet seen the Model G version for ISTJ. But when I do, I will get back to you on whether or not I believe ISTJ is a good pairing for me personally. I'm not a huge fan of duals as far as ISTPs and MBTI. I've never dated ISTPs. They're in a totally different world of existence as far as I go. And the idea is that you guys may need to do this before Damon comes on is explaining to me how types translate because I can't think about it on the top of my head. But I would totally pursue ISTJ depending on if because I have dated ISTJs before and they just haven't worked. For several reasons. There's just like a huge gap in kind of connecting and understanding each other as far as my personal experience. I wish I could talk ongoing like Daniel. I can't even say hi. Well, that's because I have extroverted feeling, and so this is how I approach my my thoughts, and that's how I get my thoughts. That's how how I talk is how I think. So the idea is that what I'm saying right now is just literally coming from without any filter from my mind, which makes me pretty authentic in what I talk about, regardless of the stigmas out there that are involved with ENFJs and being manipulative, because we can't be. It's we have extroverted feeling, just like an ENTP or an ENFP can't manipulate their intuition, their extrovert intuition. Is Daniel's favorite color is lies. Yeah, pretty much. Not literal ISTJ and MBTI. No, I realize that. ISTP. His favorite color is ISTP. Yes, very much so. I've probably run into ISTPs before, but I have not, to my knowledge, I haven't dated an ISTP, liked an ISTP. In Socionics, MBTI, ISTJ clashes strongly with ENFJ because they are FE polar. Yeah, definitely. I can't date ISTJ with an MBTI type. I cannot do it. It's ridiculous. I have been talking a lot today, and that's what happens when I'm in a room with INTPs. I get to explore my framework of how I see people, and it's really cool because for me it's like I can't bring that out myself in such a direct way, but with an INTP that's like the main mode. So when I get the opportunity to explore my social frameworks and my understandings of things, I definitely want to explore it. Like that live event that I was just in, guys, was like 4 hours. And so we're going to segment that video for a whole, to break it up so people can watch what they want out of it, and so it's going to be easier to follow. I used to have a lot of INTP friends, not as much anymore because, I work a lot now and I don't stay in touch as much as I used to with them. But I still, I love INTPs, when I can, I hang out with them a lot because they're so fun for me, I get to, I get both worlds. We can hang out, we can talk about philosophy and stuff. And just, pretty much the video before this with me and Ben and Damon is pretty much how I am all day, every day with INTPs. ESTPs, I don't hang out with ESTPs. They're just too, I don't know. I mean, I don't oppose ESTPs, but I don't have too many ESTP friends. I have ESTJ friends though. Hey, Damon, thanks for coming in.
Of course.
Are you ready? Are you ready to take hold of this interview? Because I just realized the level of energy that I have left.
I was trying to tell you, man. You just did not listen to me. You were like, I'm charged, man.
He sucked me dry.
Yeah, the TI is your inferior function, smart one.
I know. You should have stopped me. You should have been like, Daniel, you're at 50%. You should really.
No, you would have argued with me. No, I'm getting charged up, bro. Yeah, you would have argued.
Yeah.
Do we have a? Let me see real quick. Okay,
so we know 10 people really like watching me. So the other people coming in will be all about you.
I think you fried them all, to be honest with you.
I did. I fried whatever viewership we were going to have with our last video.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that was a 4-hour.
And we were still going, by the way. We were going until 6:59, and I'm like, Ben, I have to go.
I figured that would be happening.
What?
All right, so I said I figured that would be happening.
Yeah, that's why I sent you the link at 6:59, because I'm like, Ben, I need to leave. He's like, all right.
All right,
so
audio should be good now.
Oh, your audio is perfect. Bueno.
Yeah, all right, guys. All right, so let's get into this. We were talking about dualities. Let's make this obviously a pretty expedited live show here because of the massive amounts of freaking Lord of the Rings saga that Daniel and Ben had earlier. So let's skip the whole trilogy and get right to it. So obviously, I don't know where you're at with this the duality, Daniel. So we'll start from square one.
I was just getting into the fact that I have no idea how to approach socionics and duality. So
okay, so duality is you take your inferior function, and you just reverse it. You start from the inferior and move all the way there. That's your dual type. It's in the same quadra, so your same socionics quadra.
So that's ESTP and ISTP for me, and
yeah, it's going to be your ISTP. That's your duality.
And MBTI.
Yeah, ISTP and MBTI, ISTJ and Socionics. So, but it's going to be. Let's just keep the MBTI terms. It's going to be ISTP for you. All right, so that's TI dominant, followed by SE, followed by NI, followed by FE. So that's going to be your standard.
Yeah, and this is and I find that in my experience, I mean, with INT, I can only speak with INTPs. I really like the logicalness of how we work as like the actual type dynamic. So I'd be more. I was actually saying before you joined on, before I started. You have a lot of noise on your end.
Yeah, I know it's off now.
Okay, so I was just going into how I've never experienced ISTPs. I've never dated an ISTP. I've never been in a relationship with an ISTP. I've never liked an ISTP.
Well, female ISTPs are pretty rare as is.
I know. So what, am I out of luck here? Jesus.
You are. You'll be single the rest of your life, Daniel, and that's good for business. Because when you're not single, you don't do squat. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so but in all seriousness, guys, the ISTP is supposedly the match because it matches the quadra. So the key is it's about quadra. So the reason why this is like, you'll see in our previous shows that Trey and I talked about ENTJ, INFP. He now obviously prefers INFJ. So he says his perfect match is ENTP. It's actually, according to the quadra, it's not, because the ENTP has different function value. So that's the key, is understanding the quadras and getting along because of the same similar values and the way they see the world. The worldview is very similar with people who share the same functions. So that's what it's about. It's really diving into understanding the difference. So the key here is growth, though. You can't take an immature like ISTP and an immature ENFJ and expect them to mesh. As we said in the live show earlier with Ben, it's about Ben was specifically mentioning stuff like, hey, he's like, you can't take somebody so far on this end of the spectrum and then so far on this end of the spectrum and expect them to be able to actually meet in the middle.
Extremes don't work.
Yeah, you've got to have, now extremes do work in energy. If you have a highly masculine person and a highly feminine person,
that works fine.
Yeah,
but
that works
as far as functionality, that does not work at all.
As far as functions go, that's correct. You can't have someone who's so introverted and someone who's so extroverted. That's just not going to work very well. So it's about understanding from a socionic standpoint the people who share the same functions. So when we go into quadras, let's look at the model A quadra. quadras because we don't have all the information on Model G. So we're going to go to Model A.
Could we use Model G, please? I really like Model G.
No, we don't have all the information on Model G. I told you that.
Oh, all right. It's fine.
All right. So when we go to quadras, just remember that they have the same valued elements. They value the same functions. And that's what makes it unique. Because if you mix with somebody who doesn't value the same functions, the other person is not going to value those functions in you as well, is the theory anyway. So that's the key to understand about quadra. So let's go over this real quick. We're going to talk about a little bit of the alpha quadra first, and we'll go kind of just touch base with this. It's TINEFESI. That's your alpha quadra. So that, I believe, is your the people in alpha quadra. So that's going to be your ILE and SEI, ESE and LII. So what that means is your logical, intuitive, INTP, and those who share the same function with INTP. So TINE, that's your ENTP, INTP, and it's going to be your not ENFJ. It's going to be your ESFJ and your ISFJ. Okay. So these people are supposedly go ahead. Those
aren't necessarily dual types, right? For INTP.
They are.
Oh, they are. Oh, so that's how they're all outlined with duals. So every quadra has their dual in it.
Right. So the INTP, according to Socionics, should be with the ESFJ.
You know what's really funny?
What?
90% of INTPs I know end up within ESFJ.
Well, yeah, because they value the same functions. That's the
sometimes ENFJ. In my later in my series, I'll get into the pros and cons. Oh, actually, I did that video already. INTP, whether to choose ENFJ or ESFJ. I already did that video. So anyway, continue.
All right, so Daniel, what's with the shades? I know that. What is with the shades, really? Why are we doing the shades thing?
Because my friend Mateo left his sunglasses at my home. And
okay, so just because somebody leaves something, does that mean you need to wear it or do it?
Yeah, I need to parade around in other people's objects to let them know that they left them here.
All right, then. Okay, so Daniel, you're an ENFJ. You got to build trust by looking into people's eyes and their soul.
If they wanted to do that, they would just look at my relationship series for MBTI typing.
They do, but they want to see you live, Daniel. And Janelle wants to see you. Well, we can go to Janelle one's later. Okay, so all right, but by that being said, so we have people the same quadras. So the same function, so the INTP, ESFJ, the ENTP, and since ENTP, that's going to be the ISFJ, apparently. So it's a little different than what the Kiersey pairing match is, where he believed they should have the same perception functions to see the world in the same lens. The Socionics model, according to Model A at least, believes they should have the same quadra, so the same functions, period, not just the same perception function, which means that if like an ENTJ and INFP, right?
Hey,
so, go ahead.
Damon, I have a question for you because, I mean, it's going to sound really basic, but it's very legitimate. I'm an ENFJ, and INFJ is in that quadra with me, right?
Right.
But you know what's really funny? I never befriend ESTPs and ISTPs. Why is that?
I don't know why you don't, but it's likely that you have, and you may have not even known it.
Huh. Go figure.
Yeah, it's very likely that I have ISFP people in and out of my life, and ESFPs in and out of my life that I've not even been aware of. So it's really just sticking to understanding what the quadra is. And again, we can't type people just by looking at them. We can't type them off of behavior. We can't type them. So, we don't know what these people really are. And if they don't know anything about MBTI, they can't even accurately assess themselves.
Correct.
So if we're looking at it from a functional standpoint, we're looking at the quadras and being able to pair those and how they actually work. So alpha quadra is going to be the quadra. Here's some characteristics of alpha quadra as far as romance goes. The romantic relationships usually evolve from sharing activities and interests for fun in a two-person version of the group behavior description above, which I'm going to give you in a second. Priority is given to, this is all on sociotype.com, guys, so I'm just reading it right off my screen here. Priority is given to keeping the partner happy in the sense of a good mood and amused on a daily basis, with avoidance of direct accusations or necessarily harsh criticisms. So basically, they like pleasant group atmosphere. That's their primary focus, is present group atmosphere. That's what they're focused on. That's what they need to do. That's what that's primarily the alpha quadra. So you're going to see that quite a bit in the INTP. Now, you may say, well, I don't understand the INTP in this aspect. You got to remember, this particular group, they're together in this group. Like Ben said earlier, when you get a bunch of INTPs together, look how it turns. It turns into this, like you said, Comic Con.
Yeah.
So Kooky Tukey, one of the commenters here, and I agree with you. The quadra descriptions are pretty limiting as far as on sociotype and most socionics descriptions in general. But gammas, for example, she said that she or he, whoever, gammas care about material things and making money, or all betas are dramatic and theatrical. Yeah, that's not exactly the message we're trying to get across here. What we're trying to get across is being able to value each other's functions and looking at somebody and going, hey, I value this particular person, and what you're identifying is the same function. So I value this person because they're extroverted and say this person's not, or whatever. And that's what it's really about. So there's also another thing Lollipop said, considering ENTJs and INFJs are supposed to be the rarest, so many of them on the internet. Lollipop, yes. I have a natural skepticism to so many people saying they're ENTJs and INFJs, but maybe, just maybe, they all gather on the internet because they don't know where the hell else to go to meet people who are similar to them. So it's very possible, but again, I don't know. Apparently, in a statistic by MBTI, then it's going to be your natural, 1.5% is the INFJ and 1.8% is the ENTJ. A group of 100 people, you're going to get 1.8% ENTJs and 1.5% the INFJ. But again, this is all varying. I mean, you're going to find that a lot. So key is understanding, that they may be moving to a certain category. For example, if you find, you're not going to find a lot of INTJs in like sports. Why? It's because they're just naturally, they don't like operating there. Now you'll find a few, they may be part of sports, but it's not always. I mean, just think about cognitive preferences. If they're operating in their preference, they're probably going to have a preference for one thing or another thing that's similar to the way their mind is wired. Like you're not going to catch me naturally playing right-handed things. I'm going to do things with my left hand.
And so I have something to add into this. When I work with whoever, guys or girls, and like in the dating process, and people tell me like, Dan, I don't know where to find the person that I want to be with, right? Mm-hmm. It's so funny because all you have to do is follow what motivates you and follow your purpose or your sense of purpose and giving that back. And you'll naturally filter yourself in the realm of where you might find somebody, your dual and your quadra. If we're talking about if you want to find your dual type, then all you have to do is really follow yourself to what you want to do in life, and you'll find that person, right? And the idea is that when you're shifting yourself to doing what you want, the idea is that you're actually increasing your potential possibility to run across more, in my sense, ISTPs, and Damon's sense,
ISFP,
ISFPs, which I'm very jealous of.
All right, so that being said, Daniel is currently looking for female ISTPs to fill out dating applications. We have those on the website. So if you're interested in dating Daniel, just fill out one of the consult request forms and see if you guys are a match.
Yep.
Back to you, Daniel.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So anyway, like a really good takeaway is if you're really stuck on trying to meet somebody, like don't go to the bar, okay? Don't go. It's so dumb, and I need to be blunt with that. It's such a dumb idea. If you really want to have fun, do things you love to do with people that matter to you. Like if I created a chart for like this, for the spectrum of like the least motivated things to do, right, and the most proactive things to do for you, right? On the least motivated is bars, clubs, and anything that's just general, right? And if like, let's just say you're into yoga, you start going to yoga, you like to work out, you go work out. If you like to, I don't know, go to debates, you go to debates. If you like going to MBTI meetups, you go to MBTI meetups. If you like philosophy, you go to philosophy stuff. Like whatever. Like, and if let's just say you like helping people, you help people in this kind of area. right? So like it's a spectrum, right? You have to remember, like you have to try to identify what identifying on that side, that part of the spectrum. Are you more in the, this isn't me, or are you operating in the, this is all the stuff that I like to do? And you'll actually find that you'll meet more relevant people on this end than the people who really have no correlation with you at all in these areas. And it also represents short-term and long-term. Short-term unmotivated areas,
right.
Long-term motivated areas.
I've always had this saying, and I don't really want to get this call off topic, but I really have always had this saying, I'm never going to find the person. I mean, the chances of me finding the person that I'm looking for in life in a bar is unlikely, because I don't even like bars. So why would the person I'm interested in actually like bars? Or why would the person I would be actually interested in like clubs? Because I don't care about those things. I care about business. So it's likely that the person I'm going to meet is going to be in some business opportunity in the future. So it's very likely.
Well, Damon, look where you're augmenting yourself. You're orientating yourself to helping people, right? Specifically you. You're helping people. You're building a business around helping others. Somewhere along the line, you may find an ISFP en route on your journey. It's not totally out of there. You're actually creating more of the potential now, just working on your business, than you would going to a bar every night.
And my email is blowing up with dating requests for you right now.
Really? No way.
I mean, I can't even all these requests coming in.
Shut up.
This is ridiculous.
Stop it.
So I don't see.
Don't play with my headline.
I don't see any ISTPs coming in. All right, so
requests from Janelle don't count.
Yeah, well, Janelle's just a troll. She's going to be sending requests just because, and
yeah.
she'll send requests.
But anyway, you get my point, though. You'll eventually find an ISFP just doing your work, and that's what I always recommend guys to do specifically. Just do your work. Do what motivates and what you're passionate in doing. You'll find somebody who appreciates you and your work more quicker and more relevant to you than if you went to a bar and you were telling somebody about what you do and they just don't care because they can't identify with it.
All right, so let's cut to the chase. Let's get to the bottom of this, Daniel. Why ISFPs? What is so attractive to you about ISFPs?
It's just, I'm just so interested. I don't know how else to explain it.
Daniel,
let me tell you this. Let me explain to you this.
How do you know they're even ISTPs?
You mean ISFPs or ISTPs?
ISFPs, ISTPs. How do you even know?
Because I got to spend some time with them to figure that out.
So you're guessing on what? Behavior?
Not behavior. Through questioning, through relating, through empathy.
But how can you relate? How can you relate to them?
Because I qualify them. I qualify Daniel, where their mindset is, what they value.
Daniel, it sounds to me like you've got a meta program in mind that you think all hot chicks are ISFPs.
No, not at all. I have a structure to it, believe me. And if you sign up for my $2 million program, you'll get it.
Okay, well, the $2 million program. Okay, Daniel, seriously though, why? Okay, let's say they are ISFPs. Why ISFPs? Okay,
why? So that's a better question.
Let me rephrase the question.
Let me
rephrase the question. All the chicks that you thought were ISFPs, what did they have in common?
There's only been 2.
Okay, what did they have in common?
ISFPs in my life.
What did they have in common?
They just exhibited a ton of characteristics of ISFPs.
Okay, which is?
No, they they're very into their environment. They make, they exhibit the same kind of obstacles ISFPs have with understanding people and their intentions, and really not effectively utilizing their intuition with sensing, right?
So underdeveloped ISFPs.
Not underdeveloped, just well, I mean, I wouldn't say underdeveloped because like they were at the time they were like 18 and 20, so
they are underdeveloped.
Yeah, underdeveloped, yeah. But now,
preying on the weak.
But listen, having dated ISFPs who have been older, they still exhibit the same characteristics. They do.
Which is what exactly?
Are we? I don't like all these questions. Okay, I could answer.
I want to know. We're talking about dualities here, and I'm trying to identify why dualities is key.
ISFP is not my duality. It's yours.
Okay, I know. I'm not disagreeing with it that it's my duality. I'm actually trying to withdraw why you think that ISFPs are. Why are you obsessed with ISFPs? You're supposed to be attracted to people in your quadra, and since ISFPs are not in your quadra, why ISFPs?
All right, I'll tell you why I'm attracted to. So we can just move on.
Okay.
I love introverted feeling. I really do.
Okay.
And so, anytime I date an INFP or an ISFP, like there's always like this, there's this pull, right? I always feel like this magnetic pull. And I think it may correlate with there being that, like, these types just being so feminine for me. That I get so attracted. I don't know what it is, but FI dominant types always test my ability to be self-respecting and to have self-value and to be present with FI dominant people.
But one thing I got to add to that, according to Model G, which you like, INFJs have very strong FI.
Yeah.
And what's the deal?
But then again, they're very hard-headed in other ways as well. So pros and cons.
Well, so are ISFPs.
Pros and cons.
FI dominance. You know how stubborn FI is?
I know.
What's going on here? This is odd. This is strange.
I'm into stubborn FI dominant women. That's just me.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right.
I don't have the energy to talk about this. That's why I'm failing right now.
Okay. All right, Daniel. I'm just putting you on the spot. That's it. All I want to know is why you're going after my duality.
Because your duality is awesome. Maybe I will sacrifice me being an ENFJ to have that. I will be an ENTJ.
Okay.
I will put on the ENTJ hat.
All right. We'll go with that. We'll say that Daniel is now a ENTJ ISFP pursuer. So put on your ENTJ persona.
All right, let's move on. This is not consistent enough.
Okay, let's move on to the point. Let's Daniel, how long can you keep up the ENTJ persona? Hitler, I thought Hitler was ENFJ according to Ben. What's the deal?
No, this is your this is your goatee.
Yeah, it's not even. It's like
there we go. See
right now. So we're getting there.
This is my goatee.
Perfect. Now you look like an ENTJ.
Yep, I look like a mini Damon, mini me kind of.
All right, so guys, I've dated ISFPs in my life, and I know I have because I've dated a lot of different types. I'm sure at least one ISFP, considering they're like, around 7-8% of the population, or even more, maybe. Who knows? Who knows the real statistic? The point is, at least I've dated one, and I can tell you, I can't recall the experience, so I can't tell you how it was, but I can tell you that it didn't work. So that's one thing I can't tell you.
For somebody that doesn't work with ISFPs, man, you sure seem to like INFPs, my mirroring type.
Yeah, that's the truth. I've always been really attracted to INFPs.
So I like your dual and you like my mirror. What's up with that, man? You can't play that game.
But I'm moving from INFPs now. I have closed that chapter of my book, and I have closed it. The little book.
You have an actual book.
Yeah, it's closed. My God. Yeah, so that chapter is over. All right, guys. So,
great.
All right, so Ken says you need a corpse to talk to Daniel, or like Wilson from Castaway. Okay, hold on. I'm going to read something that actually
makes sense.
Actually, has
something that Ken hasn't said. We could just filter out Ken's responses. I can actually block Ken from messaging.
We're not going to block Ken. Ken's cool.
We're not. He's pretty.
Okay, so Kuki Tuki said, if you compare ISFP descriptions in MBTI versus Socionics, they're very different. MBTI, they are gentle, sensitive, and dreamy. Socionics, they're rigid and assertive. Yeah, it's kind of weird. You're right, though.
Of INFPs? We're talking about INFPs?
I'm talking about ISFPs.
I have experience with that, and yes. Well, unhealthy ISFPs.
So the more important thing is what Lollipop says, which is, Lollipop is right on the money with this. Lollipop says, why do we even care about people's types when dating? I have never cared. I never will care. And I don't care what theory system works. I'm a TE user. If it works, it works. I don't care what it is, how it is, as long as it works.
Yeah, in a matter of speaking, the I just want to interject and say the only reason why you would ever want to think about type is to learn not only how to communicate better, but orient yourself with different ways to grow with different types. Yeah. That's all it is, right? You can work with any type, but from what we're talking about duals, it's really insignificant to the fact that you can really bridge the gap with any type if you really want to make that effort. That's all it is.
Right. Type is about improving the communication. It's not about, oh my God, I'm going to find my ideal lover.
That's why I like Model G over Model A of Socionics, because it's way more applicable to actual communication and application with social dynamics. Yeah. In my opinion, it just looks like the structure is formatted as such.
Yeah. So guys, basically, it's about making sure that you use it as a tool and you don't use it as a relationship mind detector. Okay.
It's not an indicator. It's coming soon though.
And what is
our dating indicator, the thing that we were talking about the other day.
Right. Well, basically, MBTI is not a dating indicator.
It's not. It's just a tool to understand people and to figure it out for yourself. Yeah.
So you guys are cracking me up in these comments. You guys got to stop. You guys are really cracking me up. All right. So, but anyway, yeah. So don't use MBTI as a tool or Socionics as a tool to filter people out. I think all types of women are attractive in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, there's always.
I could go through all 16 types and tell you what's attractive about the profile of each type.
Yeah, the idea is every type is unique and individualistic in its own way.
I might even change the topic of this video because right now it's the Socionics relationships with duality, and honestly, it's more about relationships and using personality as a tool. So we'll get to that when we finish this live stream. But the point is, guys, when you're going through a relationship, it's more about polarity of energy than it is about type. Okay, so for example, you can actually have a feminine ENTJ. Okay, not common because thinking is often associated with logic and logic's associated with masculine energy, but you can have a feminine ENTJ. You can have a very masculine ISFP. Okay, so it's more about the polarity of energy. It's not about, and the wider the energy difference, the more attraction that's going to be there. That's what the key is. So if you're very far masculine, you need somebody who's very feminine. If you're in the middle, you need to have somebody that's probably in the middle, because if you're this way, it's going to kind of tip that scale the wrong direction. You've got to have some kind of balance.
And you're always going to fluctuate more or less within your own journey in life. You're going to sometimes be a little bit more balanced and out of focus, because in energy, being balanced is out of focus, because like something like 80%, 85% of masculine and feminine, the majority of the world is either masculine or feminine. It's only like 10% that is balanced. So the idea is the more balanced you are in energy, the more out of sync you are. And the more out of sync you are, the less you are to be motivated to do things right, to be purposeful, to pursue, or to bask in like the freedom of your energy, right? Depending on what energy you have. So the idea is that you always want to kind of self-check your energy. Where are you? And to take hold of that once again, right? So
it is, and Cookie said something really important. She said, I think a healthy relationship is about self-awareness and maturity. Absolutely.
Totally.
But the key is the energy. You can be the most mature person in the world, but the relationship will grow stale if you have someone of the same energy.
Yeah, it won't work. Unless it's balanced to balanced, right? If you're a very balanced 50-50 guy and a 50-50 girl, then it might, but that's again 10% of
let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about that. They say 20% of men are on the other side, feminine, and then they're not masculine. So let's just cut it in half and say 10% are balanced and 10% are feminine, and the other 80% are masculine at the core. And it's vice versa with women. Nothing wrong with that percentage. Nothing wrong with what it is. Now, the key is here, when we talk about energy, it's when you're balanced in the middle, you can actually switch roles in the relationship. For example, sexually, you can be, the dominant or whatever, but you've got to have that polarity. And then the next night you can switch if you're balanced. But if you're masculine and you try to assume the role of the submissive in any relationship or whatever it may be, it's going to be very, very uncomfortable for you. And eventually it's going to grow stale. You can't not be yourself. You're going to lose that.
It creates that sexual energy. It creates that attraction. It's just one of the basic principles to this kind of dynamic.
Right. So that's what we have to talk about is understanding that energy difference, and then understanding what is that energy. Well, it's primarily, if we were to encapsulate masculine energy, it's purpose and direction. That's what masculine energy is, having direction. So masculine energy is typically associated with J personality, and structuring life and moving with a direction, going someplace, moving forward. And that's the traditional J. It doesn't mean that all J's are masculine. It just means the traditional book definition of what a J personality is masculine energy, which is moving forward in life. So you get the EJs, which are very typically masculine. ETJs, typically masculine. Masculine energy, because again, they're structuring life, they're moving forward, they're thinking about driving toward a purpose and mission, and they elevate that above all else. For example, I've always seen relationship as a second priority. It's not really super important to me. It's because I'm I'm either out of touch with my feminine side, or I just don't care that much. And to me, purpose and mission is more important. If I died in my grave without a relationship, I'm fine with that. I don't really care. It's whatever to me. It's more about direction and purpose and fulfilling my mission in life. And that's a masculine energy thing. Whereas feminine energy is very associated with love. And so if you're one of those guys who, and there's nothing wrong with being a feminine dude, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. If you're one of those guys who are interested in finding love and that's your priority in life, then you probably have more feminine energy. And you just have to understand what's at your core, not what you're having in the moment. Okay.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people who will think that this is what they need, right, long term, but it's really what they need short term, because their love tank is on empty, and so that people really look to get a relationship, be in a relationship because they're lonely. And the fact of the matter is, if they were really directed with purpose, then they would be utilizing that time not only with other people for your purpose, but helping others and really kind of doing something. And you'd be fulfilling your love tank in a different way. And so the idea is with a masculine energy, like Damon was saying, relationships and dating is really secondary, right? If the idea is that if you had to ask a masculine guy, what would you rather choose? Giving back to the world, or dating somebody, or being with somebody, right? The idea is that the masculine guy will be, well, if you had to choose between your girlfriend and doing what you absolutely love every day, what would you choose? Yeah, it would just be, that's all it would be.
There'd be no question about it. I'm sorry, but my mission is more important.
Yeah, I may not seem as masculine on these live events because I'm FE and it doesn't seem like I'm very masculine. But if you had to ask me that, and I had to look at my girlfriend or my wife at that time, I would too. I would say, I'm like, you know what? I would be like, darn, I really liked you too. I would just, that would be it. Because if I had to be given that split decision, not only am I decisive in that decision, but I know my own direction. It's my ship. A guy without his ship is nothing. It's just survival.
Yeah. But one thing, as a friend, Daniel, I will never let you marry a woman that's not on board with your mission.
You'll never let me? Good.
I'm not going to let you. Nope.
Yeah.
So, all right. But so you want to make sure that you understand those are the prime differences in between the masculine and feminine energy. And probably Dan will be better to rename this show to masculine and feminine energy and relationships in general.
Yeah, I'll make a whole bunch more videos on that.
Okay, I was actually talking quieter, but I should be good on volume now. So anyway, that being said, so it's important to understand where you are, and there's nothing wrong with prioritizing one thing or another thing, and understanding, getting down to that core of what you really are, not what you are in the moment, what something has shifted you to be. So this goes beyond type. It goes beyond so many different things. Crazy Case says, so contrasting energy equals chemistry, complementary traits equals sustainability, aligned with purpose, goal equals satisfaction. The contrasting energy equals chemistry, yes. Complementary traits equals sustainability. I would say that's fair. Aligned with purpose, goal equals satisfaction. Yeah, that's fair to say. I mean, that's really, really critical. Yeah, and I don't know how to say your name, Eunice, but it's I mean, that's fine. That's typical feminine. That's typical feminine energy. So that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If love's first for you in life, that's associated with feminine energy. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean you're 100% feminine. It just means that you may have a feminine core. That's okay. I mean, so nothing wrong with that. If
I have a really good
girl, I don't know.
I have a really good point for masculine energy. It's actually a quote I created that I just remembered that's very useful right now. A sailor without his ship is a sailor lost on land.
Metaphors are also very feminine energy.
Shut up. I was about to freak you out.
But technically, yeah, intuition is associated with feminine energy, whereas practicality is associated with masculine energy. So, point being is complementary, yes, but what about opposites? Sure, they attract, but how does it work? Remember that we're associating with energy types here. We're not necessarily associating with opposite traits. Okay, so opposite, opposite personalities. We're talking about energies. And opposite energies, yes, they do absolutely create chemistry. Like, for example, I can look at a woman, and the more feminine a woman is, the more attracted I am as a masculine male. The more attracted I am to that particular woman. Whereas the more masculine a woman is, which is pretty much every woman around me, I generally don't have an attraction to. And I don't mean in general around me. I mean just in my area. It's very, for some reason, very masculine women around. I can't explain it yet. So the point is, you'll find that I'm not attracted to them. I don't treat them poorly. I just don't have that physical attraction. So that's what creates that. So as far as opposites, I think there needs to be some common ground, some common traits. But the problem is we're looking for relationship partners from common traits. For example, it would be natural to assume that someone who prefers ENTJ like me wants someone who's just as practical or just as logical or just as whatever. And the reality is that that's probably not going to be really effective, because A, it's not it's masculine traits, and B, it's because I actually would find that pretty stale. I personally would find it pretty stale. I've never wanted to be around somebody who I consider a TJ as far as relationship wise. And it just would seems very stale to me overall. So as long as, and so that's the thing that kills my relationship with other people is, as far as other females who technically prefer TJ or T in general, is I've always just found it a little more stale. It's like I'm looking for something that's not there. The problem is that I have almost, in my personal experience, I've almost limited these relationships. And because I'm looking for something else, I'm like, okay, you're beautiful, you look great, you're attractive physically, but there's got to be something else. I'm looking for the inner feminine. And what you find out is that it's not actually there. It doesn't exist. That person is actually, that particular female is a masculine person. And this has happened to me quite a bit. So I tend to look for something that's not there. And that's where the problem arises a lot of times. It's just realizing that, I should not put those people in that position, nor should I consider dating those people, and should keep them as friends. So that's the key. And yeah, Lollipop, yeah, exactly. That's why you connect better with F males. It's that contrasting energy. F is typically associated with feminine energy. So that's of course, if you're T, that's associated with masculine energy. Not saying you're masculine energy or not at your core. I'm just saying that's what's typically associated. You're going to be more attracted to whatever's opposite as far as energy goes. So that's the key. It's just really just identifying those different things in people and recognizing that some people are not meant to be your dates. Some people are meant to be your friends. Some people are meant to be people you can count on.
And also, you have to remember, like, another thing that, like, at least specifically, I can't even say specifically, guys and girls have this issue, right? Like, the one piece of advice I would want you to take home today is to try to understand how you associate with not only the opposite energy, but the opposite gender, right? Such a big issue right now. And so what I mean by that is there's plenty of women out there pretending to be a masculine energy. There's a lot of men out there who are not resonating with their masculine energy. And so not just energy-wise, but there's tons of stigmas being added to gender. And so that we have now this, like, especially in the States now, there's this power struggle between both genders when, obviously there should be equality, but the energy polarity should remain constant. There needs to be that polarity there. And so the idea is that you should really try to understand how you associate, right, with the opposite sex. You know how many client guys I have who I ask, like, why they're failing with women? They give me X, Y, and Z issues. But then I ask them, how do you see women? Like, give me your description on what women are to you. And then they go, huh, right? And then I do the same thing for women. I'm like, how do you perceive males in your life? How do you think about guys, right? Give me your definition of a guy, right? And you start off with that, and you work into like this overall perception of the gender, right? And so what I find is that there's so many people that have this really warped version of the opposite gender from either upbringing, from conditioning, from past experiences. And so like you have all this like, and maybe it's like NLP work that you could do with these guys, Damon, or these women. But the idea is that there's all these like added baggages to the perception of the opposite gender within our culture that, you know, it really warps these dynamics, right? That's why our divorce rate is so high. It's just there's this crazy lack of continuity between this area of dynamics. And you really have to ask yourself how you perceive the opposite gender, because that's just the takeaway, right? And then work on that, because I guarantee you that there is something there you need to work out.
Yeah, I do want to say something that's going to sound really cynical, but I've got to be myself here. And I'm seeing this thing that, and it says you'll find that special someone when you least expect it. I have least expected it for the last 10 years, and I really haven't cared that much, and I still haven't found it. So the point is not that I'm looking for it, but it just never came across my plate.
I thought you were gonna have like a great story, but you're just like, nah, still.
I probably wouldn't even know it if I saw it, to be honest with you. Like, I'm so focused on business. They're like, hey, do you want to hang out? No, I'm actually pretty busy, but maybe next year. You know, like
next 10 years, maybe 10 years from now.
Yeah, maybe 10 years from now. But so, you know, in all fairness, it's probably my fault in general for being so focused on mission and purpose that I actually have completely rejected that side of human life, I guess. I don't know, whatever people think is important. But, you know, ultimately it is, for me, it's about purpose. It's about mission. And so that's the idea. And guys, so if you're looking for something, this maybe have a trait, but see, at the same time, I see this thing, you know, where it says you'll find someone special when you least expect it. That works if you're a chick. It really doesn't work if you're a dude. I mean,
yeah, because you're the one pursuing.
Yeah, if you're a dude, if you go, oh my god, like I'm gonna wait until she like comes up to me because oh my god, like she'll come to me someday soon.
But you know what?
It's not gonna happen because you're the pursuer. Okay, well, if you're that feminine, maybe you'll have a masculine girl approach you or whatever. And,
yeah,
you know,
but the idea is that even if you're in the same vicinity of this so-called match, you still have to pursue, right? You still have to do the legwork and do the challenge and pursue the girl, or for you, if you're a woman.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're not pursuing them, then you're not gonna get it.
Imagine crazy. I really, you know what I wish I could do? I really wish I could play God, and like when I have one of my guy clients say, man, I really wish I could just find the one. I wish I could just throw down from the heavens the exact girl and see if he approaches her, right? And then like after he doesn't, just slap him in the face and be like, we have work to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm like, okay, if you really want somebody that bad, go out and get it. Don't pull. My whole life, everybody's like, that special someone will walk in. I'm like, not if I'm not pursuing them.
Yeah.
You're not going to just show up out of nowhere. Like the girl that I want is not going to approach me. It's 99% of cases.
No, she may like, there may be some kind of like cross, like universal, like she may spill water on you. You may not think of anything of it, or you might run into her by accident.
Yeah, she might like football tackle me or something. But as far as like, you know, approaching me in general, she might like run into me or something. But as far as like, you know, something like that, I don't think it's not gonna fly like that. Because
yeah, but more often than not, guess where you're gonna find ISFP, Damon? You're gonna find her venturing out into the world doing something spontaneous, and that doesn't really sound like you. You're inside in a business room doing business stuff and totally different areas of life.
Yeah, well, actually, Daniel, just so you know, there was a period of my life where I was doing a lot of the things I love to do. And that was the pinnacle of my dating life, was really doing all the things. And that's where I got all my dates, was just doing things that I love, like going to the museums and looking at art and then talking about art with a girl that's next to me or whatever. And then things just kind of went from there. It was never like, hey, baby, you know what's good for you? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you feel me? Yeah, you looking fine as a motherfucker there.
You've been hanging out with your roommate too much, man.
Yeah, it's none of that. It's not doing any of that.
That was like the worst example.
Yeah, that's
so. It's not even like the portrayal of what you would be like if you were in that situation. That was like ENFP roommate doing it.
Yeah, it was just me messing around. The point is that, you know, that's not the, I don't like the approach. The approach for me is, it's always been very natural. It's doing natural things. It's being myself and doing the things that I feel are authentic with who I am. So we've got Blake here. Blake is in his dating prime.
What are you guys talking about? I am in my dating prime. What you just described, that little stereotypical, yeah, man, come on, girl, come over here. It's resemblant of some males that I have watched growing up that are in my family.
You mean you were watching them grow up because they haven't got there yet?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, that's what that is.
That's
yeah, but I was talking about the approaches that I don't use with women, and that one is one.
You don't use. Okay.
Yeah. So, Blake, would you mind sharing some of your experience, say, with your dual type? Have you ever dated somebody of the what is it? The ENTP? Yeah.
I love dating introverts.
It's not the ENTP. What is it? Hold on, guys. What is it?
What?
It's the INFP. It's the INFP. That's right.
What?
Is it really?
Yeah. Your perfect match is INFP.
These dang INFPs infiltrating our lives.
I know.
Yeah. So tell me about that. So INFPs that are watching this channel, Blake is single and ready to mingle.
So am I. INFPs aren't discarded yet from my slots, so.
Yeah. Well, I closed that chapter of my book, so feel free.
Yeah.
Feel free, guys. Please indulge.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Blake, would you mind?
Question. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Any specific question?
What are your experiences with INFPs, Blake?
My experiences with INFPs, man, they always usually have a problem going on in their life. And I like solving problems, especially whenever they're like deep, emotional, like my dad hates me. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. Some of the girls that I've had a relationship with, they've had mental disorders. And when I say that, I mean just like they would cut themselves or they would like have an eating disorder. This is before we dated, though.
Oh, right.
And they'd be INFP. And they'd be INFP.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was kind of obligated to help them in a sense.
Yeah. To be the alpha male in their life.
Well, Blake,
yeah, I guess
according to Socionics theory, you and INFPs are in the same quadra, which means you share similar values. So if the INFP wasn't mentally ill and suicidal, would you find them attractive?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm not into that anymore. The suicidal and mentally ill, but
right. No more scraping in the bottom of the barrel for you, huh?
Yeah. So
they just really like suicide silence and dye their hair.
Which is yeah.
Those are the Enneagram 4 INFPs, though. There are healthy INFPs that are around your age group.
Right. I know.
You know what's really weird, Blake? I've dated a lot of INFPs, and what's really funny is that if I put you aside from any of the women that I've either dated or liked being an INFP, it would be really interesting because like I can see the behavioral correlations you have. So for me, it would be really weird to see you with an INFP because I'd be like, is that just another Blake, but like a feminine version and like inverted? Like what's going on here? You know what I mean? Because ever since I met you, Blake, like I see so many characteristics of INFPs that I've met, and if Trey was here, he would be telling me, how can you tell, right? But
I will say this.
Yeah.
I will say this. My mother and my grandmother, they both are intuitive. Well, the NFs, basically. I'm not sure if they're extrovert or introverted. I don't know how they perform in front of the public people.
The public people.
The public people. Well, in larger groups, non-familial groups, okay? But they're definitely intuitive feelers, if that's even a thing, okay?
It could be a thing. That's what we're trying to say. You can be with any type, right?
And I mean, I grew up mostly with my mother.
Okay.
So
have you ever dated an INFP where you saw the resemblance in the two of you? Did you see that you guys shared the same values because of the quadra, or like what's your experience on values and that kind of dynamic with INFPs for you, or whatever ENFP or other ESTJs maybe?
Man, I'm trying to think of an instance where I had a relationship with a young woman where we did exchange values and were on the same level. They definitely were an INFP, I can tell you that.
Okay.
What were they?
INTJ. Glad Trey's not on this call.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's just like weaseling his way in the chat. But
right. Oh, he's watching this guy. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that got awkward.
Wait, what?
That could get awkward. Oh, some history. I like that. That's good stuff. Good stuff to show.
Well, that's cool. How did that INTJ dynamic work for you, Blake?
Never actually officially dated her because I was in this position in my life where I thought I was going to go off into the military, and I didn't want any.
When did you realize that the military wasn't the image you wanted?
When I realized that sunglasses don't work on camera.
Yeah.
It's not that it wasn't the image I wanted. It's just that I had a new opportunity presented to me by my mother, and I decided to pursue that and found my passion for being useful in the business world. And I also came to terms that we weren't going to be involved in any large-scale military engagement that I feel like I'd thrive in. Okay, because if I were to go into the military, I want to be on the ground, getting my feet dirty. Special operations, which there's still special ops guys doing stuff, but there's just not as high as demand for it compared to like a wartime. So
okay.
I'm not a warmonger. It's just that whenever disaster strikes or whenever I feel like the world needs me, I want to be there and I want to play the most dangerous role.
Jeez. You won't find INFPs there, man.
I know I will not. I'll find a lot of SJWs.
SJWs.
I mean terrorists. Sorry. I'm just kidding. Gregory, get out of here. My roommate just walked in. Anyways, yeah. What is the? Any more questions about my dating preferences or how I?
Well, we were just trying to see how well the duality works, but I don't know if it's supposed to happen when you get older, or it's supposed to happen like now, or what.
I think
it's probably older.
You know what?
Honestly, like I'm telling you, mine didn't work. Daniel's he never met a female ISTP, so and you're supposed to be INFP, and
I think it's funny.
I don't know. I mean, actually, you know what? A female ISTP sounds kind of cool. Actually, I'm not gonna.
That's what I'm saying. Like, actually, kind of. I heard that they like playing pool, and I'm actually really great at pool. I own a pool table here, where I live, and I'm very great. I'm very great making the game pool great again. And
we play pool.
And so, the idea is, if you want to find an ISTP, I've been told, all you have to do is visit your local pool hall. And you'll find a badass tattooed up ISTP who's an engineer.
Okay, well, I'm the ones without the tattoos. That's what I'm looking for, not the ones with the tattoos.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I mean, I don't want, like I said, I don't want a biker chick. I just want a regular ISTP chick who likes doing things. That'd be
what awesome. Is regular without the irregular?
Without the regular, that's erroneous. You can't have a regular without the regular.
I said a regular without the irregular. Oh, here's Trey. Segue.
Well, it's regular without the irregular is still regular. What the hell are you talking about, Daniel?
Irregular.
Irregular without the irregular? That's like default normal.
Guys, how about we just make an MBTI dating app that goes against our morals and values?
We're going to create MBTI dating app. That's it. And you know what? I still am waiting for the first Slack hookup. I want to see who actually gets together on Slack.
And then we'll actually if that happens, we'll actually create on the website because of MBTV, all these people hooked up and they are now official. And so we will, that's actually the real direction of MBTV, is to really, you know, it's going to be like the new eHarmony for MBTI.
Yeah, so here's the conclusion to this whole call, guys. The conclusion to this whole call is that duality hasn't worked so far in any of our lives. Whether it's because the duals suck or we suck, I am willing to accept both.
You know what, though? I have to go back on that. Like, the idea is that if it's still NA for me, because not available if you didn't know what NA means. It's still NA because I haven't dated one, I haven't liked one, right? I haven't been in the vicinity of an ISTP, right? Or I haven't known one to be one, to explore an ISTP. So
explore.
That's what it is. It's a journey. Every person you connect with is a journey. So
look, I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
When I meet people, I don't even guess their type anymore. I just look at them and go, wow, you suck as a person, or wow, you're amazing as a person. And that's it. We don't,
that's my point. Maybe it hasn't worked out because, hey, we're not focusing on type when we meet people. We're just going off of what works, like in the moment, figuring it out.
Here's where you find all the types. Everybody's dad is an ENTJ. Everybody's mom is an ESFJ. Everybody's sister is an INFP. Everybody is their own type.
Everybody's boss.
Everybody's boss is an ESTJ. Everybody's accountant is an ISTJ, and that's pretty much where you're going to find the types. It's very simple. It's super easy to figure out. So you guys, I mean, if you really want to look for your type, you just know what to do. ESTPs, they're the salespeople, so they're the guys knocking on your doors. So if you ever shut the door on somebody, oh no, it's another door-to-door sales, it's an ESTP. So guess what?
Any of the guys at the bars.
If you're an INFJ, you need to open the door for ESTP. Stop door slamming the ESTP. See, that's where that came from, that door slamming crap. It came from the INFJ's door slamming the ESTPs as their duals. When the ESTPs show up on the door, knocking on the door to sell them, the INFJ's like, door slam, boom. That's where that INFJ door slam came from. So the INFJ needs to open the door to their heart for ESTP. So when the ESTP is trying to sell them, let them in. Let the ESTP in and be like, connection. There's some sparks. There's some chemistry here.
Sounds like a really bad porno.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's that?
Why is Daniel wearing shades?
You know, I said the same thing. I was like, Daniel, why the hell are you wearing sunglasses? And he still has not used his.
I'm trying to put on a new facade so I can attract ISTP.
Model G actually encourages your dominant function to suck, because your FE right now sucks. You should never wear sunglasses with an eye.
Would that mean that my NI would suck?
Why does your NI suck?
No, because you said the dominant function would suck.
No, it just means that it can suck, and in Daniel's case, his FE is sucking right now.
Oh, gotcha.
No, I'm just trying to change my image for ISTP, so.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's actually a good justification, good rationalization.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, and Lightly Pop, yes, you are the one getting rejected. Stop doing door-to-door sales. Go hang out with your dual types, INFJs. And you were going to find INFJs spaced out in a corner somewhere where you least expect them.
Let's go back to duality for a second.
All right.
I thought we were concluding the call.
I am concluding the call.
Oh, we are? Okay, so let's go into everything else then.
Okay, what's everything else?
There's a lot of stuff coming to MBTV.
There's a lot of stuff.
Okay. Hey, Blake, I like your microphone. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Thank you. We just got a new microphone for MBTV to deliver you the most valuable MBTI content in the world.
Anyway, there's more Socionics stuff coming your way. There's more NLP stuff coming your way. Especially
all right, guys. Speaking of NLP, most of the NLP content is going to be on our Facebook. So if you have not got on the Facebook and added us liked our Facebook page, you're going to want to, because actually I'm going to do probably 10% of the NLP stuff is going to be on YouTube. The rest of it's going to be on Facebook. So just keep that in mind. And
I'm doing a series for types for dating, relationships, and love. That series, I just finished INFJ. I'm going to get into every type. deconstructing every type in that situation. So I'll be giving dating advice, relationship advice, or type couplings for health and different focuses for growth for different type couplings. So stay tuned for that series. I just released INFJ, I did the INTP, and I'm going to be creating a lot more other videos and stuff.
A lot more videos are coming, guys. So just bear with us as we get our production issues expedited and we get these videos out as much as possible. But a lot more stuff. We just released the INFJ compatibility video as well. So if you have not looked at our channel, there's the INFJ compatibility video for dating on the channel. So yeah, that video was released today, I believe it. So
yes, and it's fantastic.
Of course, it's fantastic because
I've got something as a side note. So also, I'm doing a INFJ series where I just talk about rants and stuff. You guys might have seen my old videos on my Trey4L channel where I talked about, like, there was one called Confidence in Women or the biggest problem with people and how to fix it and just stuff like that. And some of those were back when I believed that I preferred ENTJ. But throughout all those videos, a lot of you guys were subscribed for that reason for those videos. And I really enjoyed doing them. So we're bringing them to MBTV, and it's going to be a playlist. So if you go to the playlist section, you can see I've got the ones from my old Trey4L channel and then a new one. And I'll be doing more, but you guys have to go to the MBTV forums and post in the video section, which is a new section in the general forum posts, and just look for the video section and put a suggestion, like philosophical questions or thoughts, and I'll see about making a video.
All right, so last questions for the audience. You guys we'll give you
a couple minutes for ending thoughts.
So just so you know, Blake will be doing some stuff here in the near future as well. Blake will be releasing some exclusive content.
Exclusive.
Tie included. So Daniel may be releasing content with his shades, which I don't know his immediate plans are.
No, I want to be giving these back to Mateo eventually, so.
And then Trey is going to be working on his INFJ rant series. And you guys, I have like 70 videos queued up for you. So any more video requests, I can't handle it right now. I've got so many videos to do, it's ridiculous. And I'm getting more.
I can handle it.
Yeah, so if you want videos related to Blake's specialty, contact Blake, personal development, that type of thing. Message him on Slack. I will not be responding to most Slack messages from the fact that I am so far behind on everything else I need to do. So, but yeah. You guys got to keep that in mind as you do that. Let's check questions real quick. And if there's no questions, we will be wrapping up this late call. So, so Ken said, how can I talk to you guys without all the TE? Ken, come on. Ken, you can actually jump on any of our channels, or you can add us on Skype. We'll be happy to chat with you. So you can add us on Skype. So, and Ken, I will be there on Saturday's show if you guys are still running that. So Saturday, that's a good point. Saturday, apparently they're doing a show at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, I believe.
Who is?
I'm talking with famous people. So, and I'll be on that show. So Ken, yeah, you can add us on Skype. Let me give you some of the Skype names. Trey, if you would type your Skype name in there. Blake, if you type your Skype name in there for Ken, he can add you there too. Mine's pretty easy. You can, so yeah, Ken, you can go ahead and add me. But yeah, I will be in that show as long as nothing comes in the way. I'll be hopping that show. I've also sent out an email for everybody else to join in on the show. I believe you have 100 seats, if that's correct. So guys, you're going to want to join in on this show. I'm talking with famous people. It's going to be talking about a lot of mental stuff, like your standard anxiety, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, anxiety, depression, stuff like that, how it relates to type. And it's going to be more of an open discussion as opposed to just watching us talk back and forth. It should be a lot of fun. Ultimately, it's going to be a blast and having a good time and being able to relax. And
are we hosting that?
No, Talking with Famous People is.
Okay.
So you
guys, I wanted on that.
Yeah, if you guys jump in on that, make sure you did. I sent an email out to everyone. They should have some information on that. I did send that out to everyone on the MBTV mailing list. So if you guys aren't on the mailing list, make sure you get on it so I can keep you updated. So Ken, Ken, special thanks for talking with famous people to hosting that. That's going to be a blast for a lot of our particular people too. So it's Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, I believe. So if you guys are in Eastern time, it's 4 p.m. So make sure you get on that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We have our own that we're doing Sunday, right?
That's Saturday.
Oh, Sunday we have our own, right.
Yeah. And then Friday we have a live show with Jeff. So don't forget that as well. So, or I'm sorry, that's Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. That's going to be with Ben and Jeff, and that's going to be
my new best friend in there.
Yeah, so it's going to be Ben and Jeff on Saturday afternoon, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, and that one's going to be about Kiersey temperament. So a lot of stuff going on, guys. A lot of live shows. I got a lot of recording to do. I'm ready to give you the knowledge, all the knowledge in the world, Lily Pop. You're going to get so much knowledge, you're not going to know what to do with it. So
knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge.
So, you know your exact life purpose. Blake, can you give her exact life purpose real quick?
My exact life purpose?
No, can you give her exact life purpose?
Wait.
You know your exact life purpose.
I actually have news.
What's that?
For everybody who is still tuning in, there is actually
nobody cares about your nudes, Daniel.
News, NEWS, sir. There's going to be a surprise interview with a MBTI YouTube channel that I will not disclose, but I will hint this: it is an INFJ. So watch out for that surprise live interview.
All right, perfect. That works. All right. So when is this surprise live interview that I had?
I don't know, because that's why it's a surprise. I don't know when it's
a surprise and all. He's making this up off the top.
No. It's in the works. We're just gonna do it randomly.
It's a random INFJ.
I have an announcement as well.
All right, Blake.
There will be a surprise interview within the next week with don't end the call, with a MBTI certified practitioner who actually is on my college campus. So that should be exciting. It'll be short, just a couple Q&As.
Cool, perfect. All right, so we got another practitioner going to join us on a live call. Excellent. All right, guys. So thanks for joining us, and we appreciate you guys hopping on and staying this very long day of live shows. Thanks to Daniel and Ben, who made it a freaking saga.
We made it possible. It's a trilogy now.
Yeah,
you don't need to watch Lord of the Rings anymore.
You don't need to. You got Model G now. You don't need to watch that. So
Model G created Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Thanks so much, and we'll see you all next time.